Highest graded game by Tom. That's Tom Clements, the quarterback's coach that he really wanted back. The organization had moved on from him, but this was part of the placate Aaron Rodgers movement. Let's bring back the guy that he wants to be his position coach, who says it was his highest graded game of the season. And he said it kind of laughingly, but he still made his point. He was sure to make his point that it's not me, it's others. My highest graded game of the season. So somebody else is out there whose performance or lack thereof is keeping me from being as great as I can be. And Chris, when I heard that, it reminded me of your take on where Aaron Rodgers currently is. He's got these tremendous statistical career achievements, and that's all he can hang his hat on in the debate over he's the greatest ever. And he doesn't want to undermine them with a bad year statistically that starts chipping away. Oh, we had a pick six this year. Oh, we got more interceptions. We don't want more interceptions. Got to keep that ratio, touchdown to interception ratio, down. Can't have interceptions. That cuts into the ratio. I'll go without touchdowns if it means going without interceptions because that holds the ratio where it is. And I can't help but wonder whether that explains why he seems to be so careful this year. He's protecting what he's built, so he'll have that argument that he was the best.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, you know that's my thought. It certainly seems like that. And again, I mean, you know, there's politics of the position, and I think that's what he is doing a little bit there. Yeah, he's protecting his legacy and protecting what's his instead of at times where I come through just going, no, maybe you just got to do what you got to do to win this football game. And within that, you might have to take a few more chances. Okay, yeah, you might lose, but, you know, go down swinging. And to me, that's what the great ones are doing right now. And again, that's
Matt Ryan. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but
yeah,
look at Matt Ryan.
Right.
His arm is shot, and he's doing whatever he has to do.
Hanging in the pocket. Exactly. That's
whatever
why I was singing his praises. Exactly right. I mean, yes, it wasn't working good. He didn't have support around him, and you said it, his talent shot, but he was making the most of it and hanging in there to the last second every play, waiting for somebody to come open before he got killed. You know, and I think that's what we're saying with Rodgers. And then, you know, again, to our point here, well, you know, the league is just set up to be aggressive, throwing the football. It's pass interference, almost, you know, hey, you touched the receiver's shoulder. Oh, you held the ball long and you got touched on the shoulder. Unnecessary, nothing the passer. Okay, first down. I mean, let alone we know the offenses and the receivers are as good as we've ever seen here in the NFL. So, you know, that's where I just think he's dropping the ball, and that's where I just think, yes, if Green Bay is going to inject themselves into we're a Super Bowl contender team, I think he's got to start playing a little bit more with his hair on fire and taking more chances and being aggressive and putting pressure on teams. Right now, nobody's scared of Green Bay on that side of the ball, and they get to play downhill because they know every throw is going to be 3 or 4 yards down the field.
This goes back to Davante Adams. This came up the other night, the video that we do in the third quarter. Jason Garrett, Coach Dungy, Coach Garrett, Coach Dungy, two coaches now, and Maria Taylor and me. The question of who's to blame for the Packers. And I go all the way back to the failure of the Packers to put an offer on the table to Davante Adams toward the end of the 2021 season, an offer like they did when he first became a free agent. Big offer, can't say no. End of discussion. Forget about your Las Vegas dreams. You're going to stay here. We're going to pay you well. We're going to make this work. They let that get too far. They let him get Las Vegas in his head, and he's gone. And who's replacing him? Who does Aaron Rodgers trust? And what has Aaron Rodgers done to develop trust? I know we've said this time and again, but I have another reason to mention it because Coach Dungy said something that really caught my attention. I mentioned this the other day when you were in your hammock.
Yeah.
You're not in your hammock on Monday, you're in your hammock on Friday. You know, I constantly say, where were you, Aaron, for the offseason program if you want to get on the same page with these guys? Why didn't you bring these guys somewhere? Put in the extra time to work with them, to get to know them, to get to the point where you know how they break out of their route. You know where you can put the ball. You know how you can trust them. It isn't something that gets accelerated and mashed together at training camp. Here's what Dungy said. When they were going through some transition in the receiving core with the Colts.
Right.
Peyton Manning would get in his car on the weekends and drive to Columbus to throw passes to Anthony Gonzalez. Because there was that weird rule at the time where certain schools, they couldn't join the team for off-season workouts until after exams.
Right.
Ohio State was one of them. Oregon was another one.
Yeah.
They changed that rule now. So Peyton Manning would get in his car and drive to Anthony Gonzalez, not private jet, get in his car and drive. So he could work with this guy who was going to be coming in that year as a rookie. Why? Because that's what you do as a leader of a team if you give a crap about trying to get to the point where you trust these guys. Plain and simple. And Rodgers will deny there's any connection because it defies him doing whatever he wanted to do in the offseason. And it wasn't getting comfortable with these receivers and having them get comfortable with him. He thought it would all get done in training camp, and it didn't. And it's not getting done in the regular season. And he's to blame for this partially, not completely, because they should have kept Devontae Adams. But post-Adams, Chris, it's on him for not doing everything he can to get to the point where he trusts the guys he'd be throwing the ball to.
Yeah, Mike, I mean, I couldn't agree with you more. I mean, I couldn't. First off, I mean, as a quarterback, I couldn't imagine missing OTAs and not being there. I can't. I don't, that's like not even like in my brain process. Nor do I think would it be in Peyton Manning's brain process or a lot of quarterbacks. Again, we don't. Again, I know Aaron Rodgers. We're in year 18, 19. I can't remember now, but hey, again, we don't hear these type of things with Josh Allen or Mahomes or anything like that. The guys that are at the top of the sport right now, clearly at the top of the sport, like it's not even close. And that doesn't make sense. And, Mike, I mean, I go back to, I don't know if you ever watched it, like, the ayahuasca podcast with Aubrey Marcus and all that. It was great, and it was great. But the one thing that, like, rings to me here, at least as far as what he said in that, was he gives 0 Fs anymore. He gives 0 Fs. That's what he said. And I feel like that's what it's showing. Like, yeah. He's kind of like, hey, I'm at the end of the career, and I'm going out on my terms. I don't care. I'm going to enjoy this and say what I want and do whatever. And it feels that way. And that's cool, all right? And it's great for us to talk about, and everyone can talk about it on social media, but it's not good for a football team. And that's really what it comes back to. And there's no way that what he said yesterday is a positive thing for the Packers as they go into the work week and one of the biggest games they've had in the regular season in the last few years.
Yeah, this is the continuation of the transformation of Aaron Rodgers from guy who was afraid of any and all criticism.
Yeah, right.
To this heel turn where he accepts that some will love him, some will hate him.
Yeah.
But he's struggling to get that balance right, Chris.
Well, he's getting the people that love him to actually hate him, too. That's what's happening.
That's the problem.
That's the problem. There was the ones on both sides of the fence, and I'm going, wait, here's the hate side and here's the love side. And unfortunately, the way you've acted here a little bit, some of the ones that were on the fence and leaning towards the love side, they've fallen off and gone on to, okay, you're annoying, and, damn, maybe it's time for you to go away. And that's what he's in danger of. And I don't want to see that. I don't, because I've respected his honesty and the way he's handled himself in a lot of ways and different than, a lot of franchise quarterbacks. But, yeah, as a guy that roots for him, and if I could talk to him, I'd go, yeah, I think you're going too far now. I do.
It reminds me of how I would explain my past life as a lawyer who was in litigation and trial work. Half the people I dealt with on a regular basis hated me. Half the people I dealt with on a regular basis loved me, and my primary job was to ensure that the people who were supposed to love me continued to love me. That's the key. Anything you're in that is inherently polarizing, your goal is to play to the ones who are supposed to love you. The ones who hate you are going to hate you no matter what.
Right.
The ones who love you are the ones you need to take care of, and he's jeopardizing. If he's losing you, Chris, man, the mighty have fallen. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.